Well, perhaps those who can relate most to the battle that took place here at Gallipoli are the men and women who have served since. Well, Corporal Daniel Keighran, a veteran of the war in Afghanistan, is one of them. And for this special report, Corporal Keighran speaks to veterans from as far back as the Second World War about what it means to march on Anzac Day. And this story begins with his story about an act of bravery that earned him the Victoria Cross.
I only had 3.5, 4 years of training before I went on my first operational deployment. So to think back 100 years ago now, for these soldiers, these young kids as young as 16, bolt action rifles, assaulting out of a wooden boat onto a beach to the unknown, and they did it tough. It's quite important to reflect back on those guys 100 years ago, that Anzac spirit that was forged on the shores of Gallipoli, and to come 100 years on and to know that it's still alive and well is quite remarkable.
Daniel Keighran VC, Australia's 99th wearer of the Victoria Cross.
A man selfless in the face of threat, courageous in the face of terror.
It's a massive honour. I'm so humbled to have received the Victoria Cross, and at the end of the day, it's your mates, your peers that have nominated you for something like this. It's one of those times that I will never forget. I was on my second deployment to Afghanistan in 2010 in Oruzgan province. We were there for not very long before we realised that it was a very high threat area.
Yeah, they're pushing up, mate.
And sure enough, another 100 metres down, as we came around the last building in the village of Derripit itself, came under fire. I nearly got killed in the first minute of this firefight. I remember the bullets sort of striking in front of the ground, so they're kicking up dust in front of me straight away and skidding to the left and to the right of me. One of the guys was hit nearly ordered like straight away. I remember looking over to my left, and there's a heap of guys around the casualty, really big target, someone just started shooting at me. I made the decision that I needed to try and draw fire away from the casualty. So I've run across the top of this hill to draw fire away, and it's one of those crazy things that actually worked. If you give someone something to shoot at, they usually shoot at it. And they did. And, I proceeded to do that a few times. I did it 3 times all up, and then my 4th run I went back to assist. I transferred in 2011 from the full-time army to the reserves. From there I moved over to Western Australia and Kalgoorlie. I couldn't get a job in Queensland, so I got in my ute and drove across the Nullarbor and slept on the side of the road and started work the next day in Kalgoorlie. I stayed there for the last 3.5 years, and from there I've only just moved back to Brisbane. The Redcliffe RSL, just north of Brisbane, named a gallery after me late last year.
Good morning, Dan.
G'day,
it's
Neville.
good to see you again,
Good
mate.
to see you as well.
Yeah.
To go back there and see it, all of the items that the locals have put forward, it's a great little museum.
Some of our colleagues here, some of our members, they're all veterans.
It's always great getting a new group of veterans together. You can always share those stories. You have those same bonds.
Each Anzac Day, I try and catch up with guys that I've served with, my mates, and talk about our experiences and what it means to us. For me, it's like I saw them yesterday. Nothing's changed.
Yeah,
Is it the same for you guys as well? The same.
Yeah, that's the great thing about it. The relationships are so strong, the experiences are so deeply ingrained that you can have that when you catch up again.
It's the biggest club in the world.
How do you feel about the centenary being this year? The importance of it?
Well, I think it's very important. I treat Anzac Day as just a good remembrance day to all the conflicts that we've been in.
It's about remembering those who've made the sacrifice, not only the ultimate sacrifice and dying in war, but also those who've been maimed by war.
War, yeah.
And also the effect that that's had on their families.
Anzac Day is very significant, especially to me. My grandfather was a Gallipian. He was mentioned in dispatches.
Okay.
I still have his medals now, and I wear them proudly every Anzac Day on the correct side, of course.
Yes.
They've all had very interesting lives, and they've all done so much. And then to come back and be civilians after their service, and to still reflect so fondly on those times that they served is really interesting.
All the blokes are up here we want you to meet.
My wife's grandfather, Ray, he lives just outside of Brisbane, just near the Sunshine Coast. He was a Navy man, a Vietnam veteran. He's got some mates that have also served. It's interesting listening to some of their stories.
Stories get embellished.
Oh, they do. So they get better and better as the years go on, do they?
They give you the most ill-fitting uniform you could ever find in your life.
Yes, yep.
And all of a sudden you look like Dumbo the elephant because your ears are sticking out.
The funny part about it is you remember the good times. You tend to forget, you know.
In years gone by, people were saying that Anzac Day is dying out. There's no longer people interested.
No, it's not true. I marched at Keighran one year.
Okay.
And little kids sitting in the gutter with their hands out, and, you know, like the footy players, and they want to touch your hand as you walk past. I found that rather touching, actually.
What do you think about on Anzac Day?
I imagine all of us, it sort of strikes a chord.
Incredibly sad, that war, you know.
Our famous day, Anzac Day, really is a day that shouldn't have happened. Really.
Our guys were used as cannon fodder, really.
Technology probably wasn't much better than ours, but they had the advantage in the high ground.
Yeah. And I reckon it would have been horrendous.
We always hear about this Anzac spirit. What does it mean? What does it represent? And I can tell you, as a modern soldier, to be in combat, to see the guys in action, those things of courage, working together as a team, your mates, the humour that's still involved, and all those terminologies that were first brought about 100 years ago are still alive and well. I know what it's like to go to war, the experiences, to lose mates. So to commemorate Anzac Day this year is extremely important.
Corporal Daniel Keighran, VC.